What is good, everyone? OJ over here from Player Essence, and welcome to another PE News. Today, we have some awesome information for you guys from Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that has a brand new update. Also, a big rumor on Resident Evil 2 Remake and HD Rumble was the reason why, at least the initial inspiration for Lumines Remastered on the Nintendo Switch and other systems as well. So let's go ahead and get right into this. And we are starting off with my baby, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Update 1.4.1 is live. So after Nintendo announced it, we have gotten that update for Xenoblade Chronicles 2, adding even more content to a game that's already packed full of a ton of content. So here's what you can expect in this brand new update when you boot up your Nintendo Switch and you want to play this game. So a Smith's Pastime, that is a brand new quest. You can get more details in that description below. We have a hat fit for a lady, which is another quest that's available at chapter 5. Making Love Source, which is an interesting name, and that'll be after chapter 7 around then. A Mercenary's Honor, that'll be available at chapter 10. And then you have Mercebay's Mightiest, which will be available from chapter 10 and on. So awesome stuff there when it comes to Xenoblade Chronicles 2, always updating and adding new content, pretty much an update every single month since launched, and it launched back in December, early December, that is, in 2017, and I'm really excited to kind of get back into Xenoblade Chronicles. I haven't been playing as much as I would have liked just because there's been a bunch of different things that have happened, but I have gotten at least one Let's Play out in the past like month or so, and I've been playing a little bit on my own as well, off of recording and stuff like that. So it's still amazing, it's still a great game, and I'm going to jump right into Xenoblade Chronicles 1.4.1 once I get the opportunity. Now, another thing, guys, if you haven't picked up Xenoblade Chronicles 2 at this point, I would definitely say make sure you pick it up, guys, just because Monolith Soft, they're working, and they're working super hard. I mean, before you know it, we could have Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and if you don't play this game now and get into it, and then Xenoblade Chronicles 3 comes out, and it's like, yo, this is actually like the real, like, for the Nintendo Switch, not built off of what they did before. Let's just say, like, the game is looking a lot better, and it's just performing so amazing, and you want to get into it, you're going to be behind quite a number of titles. So definitely go out there and pick up Xenoblade Chronicles 2 on the Nintendo Switch if you can. If you have the extra money, if you haven't done so already, trust me, you're going to love it. If you are into huge RPGs, so if you love huge RPGs, if you like old school RPGs in terms of how the story progresses, twists and turns in the plot and all of that, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is right up your alley. I've had so many people say, yo, OJ, man, like, you got me to buy this game, and I am absolutely enjoying it. Like, this is one of the best games I've ever played. So definitely go out there and pick up Xenoblade Chronicles 2 if you haven't done so. I think there's still special editions available. There's a cool special edition, or you can just go with the digital or the standard. There's a season pass if you want it. You don't necessarily need it, but definitely if you want to pick that up, that'll give you a lot of content as well. Plus, you're going to be getting free updates with new quests and everything too. So this is amazing. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is amazing. Monolith Soft, once again, either the best studio or tied for the best studio with Intelligent Systems, in my opinion. So what do you guys think about all this with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and what they're doing there? And are you guys excited for the expansion DLC in terms of the big story that's going to be coming later this year? And what are your thoughts on potentially having Xenoblade Chronicles X2 or Xenoblade Chronicles 3 like I talked about in my video yesterday? Make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, now moving into the next topic here, we do have a little bit of a rumor when it comes to this. This is from Rely on Horror, which is a Resident Evil fan site, and according to their source, Resident Evil 2 Remake to be the best looking entry to date. Plus, they have some specs, at least what they were told on that. So Capcom hasn't really revealed much information on Resident Evil 2 Remake at all, but they do feel that it will be revealed, at least Rely on Horror feels that it will be revealed at E3 2018 next month, but they're not exactly sure. So they're just saying that it could be, but they're not sure on that. Now, there's been a speculation on the time frame, but there really hasn't been anything that they can go off of in terms of when the game will launch. Now, here's the juicy bit of information. Now, according to their source, Resident Evil 2 Remake will run on the RE engine, which isn't necessarily surprising, but it's been significantly optimized and upgraded with new tech, including an impressive revamped lighting and shadow system. It's aiming for a solid 30 frames per second at 1080p on a standard PS4 and 60 frames per second at native 4K on the PS4 Pro. So I want to stop it right there. Now, before we get into that, that is a huge disparity between the PS4 base and the PS4 Pro. I mean, the fact that you're trying to sit here and say that not only are you going to have a native 4K, but then you're also going to have a 60 frames per second and then have it to be the best looking entry to date, so then better than Resident Evil 7 on the PlayStation 4. I mean, that is just hard to believe. I know this is a rumor, and of course take it with a grain of salt right now, but it's hard to believe that on the base PS4 it's going to be 1080p 60 frames per second, and then on the PS4 Pro it's going to be 4K native and then 60 frames per second. Now, they also talked about that a little bit. They said the engine loads different resolutions each time you enter a room, so some rooms may not be always native 4K, and the assets may be dynamically scaled to keep it easy on the hardware. That said, the game will be the first Resident Evil designed with 4K resolution in mind, making it the best Capcom game to date, and it may be able to seriously compete with games like God of War in terms of visuals. Now, here's the thing that they did say. The author's speculation about God of War was not a statement from their source, so that's just them speculating on things. Now, like I said, I have a bunch of, I guess, red flags to raise up with this. I highly doubt that they're going to be able to make this Resident Evil game, just in my opinion. Okay, I don't trust this source when it comes to some of the other things. Now, in terms of the best looking Resident Evil game, absolutely, but 4K 60 frames per second and pretty much having that hold throughout the whole thing, I just don't know if that's going to be possible. Then the base PS4 is 1080p 30 frames per second. I think there's going to be differences when we actually get the game in our hand and those guys over at Digital Foundry rip it apart. Don't get me wrong, the Resident Evil engine or the RE engine is absolutely fantastic. It can probably work miracles. It can do a lot of great stuff, but man, that seems like they're squeezing a lot out of something that doesn't have a significantly better CPU when it comes to the PS4 to the PS4 Pro. There's still some bottlenecks there, and to be able to get it up to native 4K with some dynamic scaling and 60 frames per second, that's interesting. That's interesting, and that's something that God of War and many other games could not do in terms of having that resolution, then also having that frame rate as well. I mean, if you're going to compare it to God of War, you're going to put that comparison out there, then I'm going to sit here and say, well, wait a minute, I've played God of War on a PS4 Pro, and if you want 4K, that frame rate takes a tank down. I mean, it does not move or animate smoothly, in my opinion. Playing the performance mode where the resolution is clearly lower and the frame rate is higher, maybe it hits 60 frames per second and it kind of toggles. I don't know about that, so I'm going to go ahead and disregard that for right now in terms of what he said about the whole God of War comparison. But I do feel that, yeah, this can be a great looking game. Resident Evil 2 is historic. It was one of the best games when it released. It was something completely different. We hadn't really seen horror games like that, and it had really cool protagonists. You know, it had Leon and everything, so that was where he got started. So Resident Evil 2, no matter what happens with this whole rumor, Resident Evil 2 remake that is going to be amazing. We haven't gotten a real Resident Evil 2 remake ever. So if people are wondering, okay, well, have we played that before? No, there hasn't been a real Resident Evil 2 remake outside of the Darkside Chronicles game, which was a light gun game based on Resident Evil 2. So I don't know if you can necessarily count that. So this is the real Resident Evil 2 remake, and I'm excited to play it, whether it's on PS4 Pro, whether it's on Xbox, whether it's on PC, or even if they get into the Switch version. I'm ready to play the game. I've got all the systems there, so I'm just happy that they're finally making this game. I've been waiting for it for a long time. They also discussed how it's going to have an over-the-shoulder camera view like Resident Evil 4 and some other things like that. So if you want to see the full details on the rumor and what they said, make sure you check out the link in the description below. But remember, guys, take this with a grain of salt till we actually get the details from Capcom, maybe at E3 or maybe later than that. We just don't know. But yeah, once again, grain of salt till we get more details because it is a rumor. All right, now moving into the final topic here, we have HD Rumble being the inspiration for Tetsuya Mizuguchi to bring Lumines Remastered to the Nintendo Switch. So this is coming from a Nintendo Life interview with the Lumines creators. So here's what Nintendo Life had to say first. Quote, when did you think about bringing Lumines to the Switch? Did you think about doing something for the console straight away? Here's what he had to say on the matter. Quote, I was really inspired by the HD Rumble and I thought this is new, and also I've heard many voices from people who played the original on PSP, but they said, I want to keep playing, but my PSP is broken, or some just move on to the next hardware. I felt I needed to succeed the first Lumines, and I had been thinking about the game on new platforms, and I felt I had to do that. But there was no right timing. Then Nintendo announced the Nintendo Switch, and I realized it was a good time to remaster the game, as well as taking advantage of the 4K available on PS4 and Xbox One. I had many reasons, but both the resolution and the rumble on the Nintendo Switch meant it was the right time. Everything had come together. So this is awesome to hear about this when it comes to Lumines Remastered, because this was one of the most amazing games in terms of music, puzzlers on the PSP. This was the reason why many people bought a PSP, was to play this game and then to hack the system to death after that. But Lumines Remastered was one of those hardcore games that people just bought a PSP for. So it's awesome to see that the game is coming back. I played the game anytime that I went to GameStop. There was a PSP hooked up and they had this game on there, and I'd just be playing it away. I never had a PSP to play until much later down the line, but I never really played Lumines on there anyway. But I played the PSP so much at GameStop with Lumines just because I thought it was so cool. So I'm excited to see this come back, and it looks like they're really taking advantage of HD Rumble. So that's awesome to see, and I'm glad that Nintendo Switch inspired people to bring back some of these classic games that a lot of people didn't get a chance to play back in the day, or we have new generations of children that have been born into gaming now that are older and would be like, yo, I never heard about this game back then, or I was born after the game came out. So yeah, I'll try it out on the Nintendo Switch. So this is awesome to see. So what do you guys think about Lumines Remastered being inspired by HD Rumble in addition to the 4K resolutions? Also, Resident Evil 2 Remake, what are your thoughts on that? And of course, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in the brand new update. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of Player Essence across the internet in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming pages and consider supporting Player Essence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below and consider supporting Player Essence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Let me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to Player Essence for the latest RPG, Japanese, Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.